The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Medford, Oregon, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32971. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Let's start at the front bumper area. Just under the front bumper, you'll find this receiving hitch. This is for your removable hose roller. Moving just to the outside edge of the frame rail, passenger and driver side, is where you'll find your closed tow hook. Moving up onto the face of the bumper, passenger side, you'll find an air horn. As we move over to the driver's side, you'll find your electronic siren, PA speaker system. Moving up onto the top of the bumper extension, you'll find 3 storage locations. The 2 outer edges are for hose storage. The interlocation in the center is going to be for your 1.5-inch swivel discharge hose storage location. This is your front discharge. It is water and foam capable. It's an 1.5-inch discharge. On the outer edge of the bumper extension, passenger and driver side, you're going to find emergency warning lights. As we move up onto the grille itself, just outside of the Pierce logo, 2 forward-facing emergency lights. Your headlight cluster housing low and high beam, in addition with a turn signal, are located in the front. Moving upward, you'll find an air intake, and moving just over the front tire is where you'll find your turn indicator for right and left turn. Moving downward to the wheel, you'll find a aluminum Alcoa wheel with Michelin tires. Let's now move up onto the fender well, where you'll find your release mechanism and hood release. Let's take a look at the cab. On the side, you'll find 2 grab handles at all points of entry. The 2 grab handles here for the passenger and also for the driver. Just downward from that location, you'll find a grab handle that does lock. This is going to be able to access inside the cab. Moving upward onto the mirrors, you have 2 mirrors, convex and flat. Moving all the way to the top, a forward-facing floodlight. Up on the brow of the vehicle, you'll find 5 running lights. And as we move all the way to the roof is where you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Let's now jump back down to the diamond-plated area at the lower section, where you'll find a few items. We'll start first with this auto eject plug. There are 2 of them, air and also electric. Let's move down to the right, where you'll find your silver diesel and blue DEF. You also have storage compartments, D-handled access. Let's take a look underneath the front bumper. Perimeter lighting located in the step areas for personnel. As we move forward of that location at the top, you'll find the air eject. Moving downward, you'll find your shore inlet. It's a 20 amp auto eject plug. It does provide a digital readout at the top of the plug area. Moving to the right, you'll find your silver ultra low sulfur diesel fuel, and to the right you'll find your DEF fuel location. It is the blue cap. Let's move just inside the door of the cab, where you'll find comfort control measures, an air ride seat, and also adjustable lever on the right hand side. We'll talk a little bit about this placard. This is manufactured from Pierce Manufacturing. This provides the date of manufacture, the job number, which is a 5-digit number, in addition with gross vehicle weight ratings, cold and rear tire inflations. It also has all of your information regarding fluid types and the fluid location, in addition to your VIN number. Moving to the door at all points of entry, you'll find this set of warning labels here for firefighter safety. As we move just downward of that placard is where you'll find your master quarter turn battery switch. You do have a keyed ignition with a green indicator that you've engaged the starter. Let's move upward from this location. At the very top, you'll find this placard, height 10 feet 3 inches, length 26 feet 1 inch, and a gross vehicle weight rating of 37,000 pounds. If you make any adjustments to your apparatus, please update this placard. You'll also notice a combination of switches here. First, starting with cruise control. Lower down on the increment here, you're going to find your running lights and headlights. Let's move to the dash. You're going to find in the center tachometer and speedometer. On the outer edges, you'll find transmission volts, DEF level, fuel, air, front and rear. Diagnostic information will display above the speedometer area, in addition with turn and hazard marker and check engine lights.
Let's move to the right with the dash area. You'll find your filter minder located up here. This is for the air filter. Just down from that, you'll find your Allison transmission pad. It is a digital readout. Moving to the right in the black section here, you'll find your pump shift. You'll also find that you'll need two green indicators located at the very bottom, OK to pump and OK to pump in motion. To the right, you'll find your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. At the very top, you'll find your unit stereo system. Moving downward, you'll find all of your apparatus controls, including door locks, windows, and also engine brake and DEF information. Just beneath that, you'll find a set of switches regarding your firefighting capabilities and also all of your information regarding if your pump is properly engaged with the green indicator. Let's move downward from that, where you'll find your climate control location. Just beneath that, you'll find an in-cab water tank level indicator, and then to the right, you'll find a digital pressure readout. Overhead is where you're going to find your backup camera monitor. Located directly in the center, you'll find this red indicator. If it's flashing, it indicates you have a compartment or door open. Do not move your apparatus. Moving up to the center area, we've got a set of switches here. We'll talk about those next. Let's first start at the very top. These are going to be all of your lighting situations for front flood, driver's side flood, passenger side flood. Also down at the very bottom, you're going to find all of your emergency warning lights. Just to the right, you'll find your PA speaker system and siren control. Let's move back outward. Now to the rear compartment, you'll find two D handles which will gain access. This is a lockable compartment. There is LED lighting inside the compartment. You do have perimeter lighting just above the cab, and below the cab. Once again, as we move inside the cab, you'll find all of these warning labels here for firefighter safety. You do have two rear seats in the back. They are equipped with a internal SCBA holder. And now let's move outside to the cab area, just past it, where you'll find your pump. Down at the very bottom, you'll find a tank fill location. You'll also find for foam operations, and then you'll also find your foam discharge drain and also foam pump intake drain. Moving up from that location, you'll find the driver's side auxiliary 2.5-inch inlet. To the right, you're going to find manifold drain and also that auxiliary inlet drain. To the right, we've got a pan access door here. This will gain access behind the pump panel. We'll talk about some of the items within that area. This is to gain access behind the panel. Your vehicle is equipped with a foam system. It is a Husky 3 foam system. These are specification and instructions. To the right, you'll find round knobs, which are going to be your front discharge and driver's side number 1. Those are drains. They are twist, not pull. To the right, you'll find your main pump drain. As we move up to the left, you'll find your placard regarding pump testing for 150, 200, and 250 psi. To the right, you'll find a twist for your engine cooler. Moving up from this, you'll find two ports here, vacuum and pressure. These are your test ports for 150, 200, and 250 psi test pressures. Just down from that, you'll find your front discharge. It is color-coded and also labeled. You do have some switches here. You do have a pump engage, which will illuminate if your pump is properly engaged. Your tank refill recirculating line and tank to pump located on the right-hand side. Let's move downward from this location, where you'll find a digital readout for your foam level and then also a digital readout for your water tank level. Let's move just slightly downward, where you'll find this warning label regarding do not mix foam consistencies, brands, or types for foam failure warning. And then you're also going to find either vacuum or pressure. This is the staging of your pump. To the right, you'll find your foam tank fill for draft, foam, and tank on the lever. Moving to the left upper section, you're going to find this discharge number 1, color-coded, clearly identified, and it is reduced down. To the right, the red section is your Husky foam module. Moving up from that, you'll find the electric primer. You do have a caution label guarding that primer of at least 1,000 RPMs. We'll cover next the Pierce command zone. This is your pressure throttle governor. On the left-hand side, you'll find if illuminated, the check engine. Located in the center, a digital readout regarding the RPMs. And then to the right, if illuminated, it would be in red, a stop engine. As we move down to the orange button, this is the menu button, which allows you to scroll through the various menu functions of the throttle governor. To the right, you'll find all of your engine diagnostic information located across. and then to the right you'll find a red silence button, which allows you to silence the alarm. Moving further down in the blue switches, you'll find either pressure or throttle mode. Those are the two modes that you have with the pressure governor. Moving to the right, you'll find a digital readout. Further to the right, you'll find if illuminated and you're properly engaged, you're throttle ready. This will be a green indicator. Also, just beneath that, you'll find a green push button regarding presets if you choose to utilize that. Down to the very bottom, you'll find your throttle. Increase, turn to the right. Decrease, turn to the left. For idle, push directly in the center. Located at the very top of the pump panel is where you'll find your pump intake, master gauge, and to the right, your pump discharge. This is the audible speaker that I was referring to. The outer edge of that bezel does have the ability to dampen the sound by twisting. Let's move up to the top where you'll find an LED indicator for your water tank level. It will flash when you're in the red section or near empty. Moving to the rear of the apparatus, you'll find your wheel chock storage location. You do have two SCBA bottle storage locations here with retaining straps. Moving up to the very top of the rear section of your apparatus is where you'll find a side-facing scene light, and then there are two emergency lights, upper and lower. Here's a quick look inside the SCBA storage location with a retaining strap. Let's move just over the rear wheel where you'll find this compartment. Housed within this compartment is your battery charging system. When plugged into shore power, this unit will activate, maintaining your batteries. Overhead of this compartment, you'll have a grab handle located here. Make sure you pull this prior to lifting the door completely aloft. Close up here, emergency light SCBA. This is the rear SCBA with the bottle retention strap. Let's move now to the very rear compartment. We do have adjustable shelving and LED lighting. This compartment is ventilated. Up to the top is where you'll find that side-facing scene light, and then as we move to the very rear, you'll find your emergency warning light. Let's take a quick look at the brackets down at the bottom. This is for your wheel chocks, the release mechanism on the left-hand side of the bracket itself. These are folding wheel chocks. As we take a quick look at the rear section of the apparatus, let's start just underneath the tailboard area. First with the center, this is a removable hose roller receiver, and then just beneath that you'll find a pull-out style step. Let's move upward from this location to the rear of the apparatus where you'll find your brake, turn, and reverse light. At the very top of this cluster is where you'll find a rear-facing emergency light. There are steps. This step at the very top is a combination step for flag and step. And then to the right, you've got a couple warning labels here not to ride on or be cautious while you're engaging climbing on the apparatus. This is that step underneath that holds the flag. To the right, you'll find a 2.5-inch discharge. Moving upward from this location, a rear-facing scene light. All the way up to the top in the very center, just below the grab handle, is where you'll find your backup camera. As we move downward back into the compartment space, you'll find an adjustable shelving and also LED lighting. Back up to the very top, we do have a D handle to gain access behind the double doors located here, and then hose storage on the passenger and driver's side. Let's take a look at the very top, an additional discharge located here, 2.5-inch with the valve on the right hand side. As we look upward, you'll find hose storage. Within this same area, just toward the center, is where you're going to find the location for your rigid suction hose. To the right, you also have long tool storage handles or equipment tools. Let's move up to the top of the vehicle. It is diamond plated across the entire top of the vehicle with two release mechanisms and grab handles. You do have also top access for water and foam, where you don't have to remove the entire or lift the entire hose bed. These are the access locations for foam and water. This just happens to be the water fill location for the top. And then as we move to the other side, you'll find the foam fill location. Let's move into the dunnage area, where we'll first see at the very top the water fill location. Moving further up into the actual dunnage area is where you'll find your Husky 3 foam system. This is the hydraulic reservoir and pump for that system. there is a fill location down at the lower section for the hydraulic oil. And as we move to the right, you'll also find your hose roller. There is a reset or breaker located on the left. You do have a hose roller located directly in the center, also down in the lower right-hand side. Your number's 8162 located at the very top. This is a non-walking surface area, so be cautious. This is the foam fill. Be cautious when mixing different types of brands or consistencies. It is not recommended for foam failure hazard. Let's move around to the side of the apparatus. Just a quick look here. Same configuration as far as compartment storage and lighting, but we'll go over that in just a moment. As we look to the very rear compartment, D handle to gain access, and once again it is a keyed entry. You do have ventilation and louvered compartments in addition with LED lighting and adjustable shelving. As we move to the outside area, there are 2 bottle storage locations here in front of and also in rear of the rear tire. As we move directly over the rear tire, you'll find an additional compartment, louvered for ventilation, adjustable shelving, LED lighting, and again that top strap that needs to be grabbed prior to the release of the actual compartment. As we move to the passenger side, I would like to point out this warning label. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures. Be cautious where you park your vehicle. Moving also underneath, you'll find a do not cap. This is going to be for the relief valve. Simply do not cap. Moving up from that location, you'll find LED lighting for your perimeter lighting, and then you'll also find the passenger side auxiliary inlet. Let's move up from this location just above the diamond plated door board, where you'll find a long compartment. 2 D handles gain access. A latch will gain access behind the pump panel for visual inspection. Moving upward from this location is where you'll find your hose roller. You'll also find an LED water tank level indicator for the passenger side. Let's move downward midship location, talk a little bit about some of the pump configurations on this side. This is the number 2 2.5 inch discharge, which is reduced down to 1.5 inches. You also have the rewind switch, a placard regarding your Darley pump and its capacity, and you also have the passenger side main inlet. Moving downward at the top, you can see the orange labels referring to the 2.5 inch discharge. The next one down is referring to the 2.5 inch female inlet. This is your auxiliary passenger side inlet. As we move to the step area, first the rear set of steps, you'll find 2 D handles gain access into this compartment and has LED lighting. As we move to the forward section, you'll find in the step areas there are perimeter lighting for those steps. Let's move down to the front section. Quick look at the front cab, same layout as the other side. Let's point out a few items within this area. First, point of entry, so we have these labels located on the door panels itself. Quick look around inside the cab. You can see 2 rear seats. They are forward facing and they do contain SCBA bottle storage locations. Underneath those seats you will find storage locations. Let's move to the front section. These are step lights at the front section of the cab. This is the officer side. As we gain entry, you'll find comfort controls both on the passenger and driver side, air ride seats, and also front to back. Pull or slide the yellow handle, which will allow you to slide the seat forward and backwards. We do have some warning labels here. Only one of them has the ability to dampen the sound. It's the lower one. As we move overhead in the center, this red light, if flashing, is indicating do not move the apparatus. You have a compartment or door ajar. Just over the passenger side window, you do have a downward facing mirror for the operator. 2 mirrors on this side, convex and flat. As we move to the front section, you'll find the release mechanism, same as the opposite side. Both of those must be released before you grab the center grab handle to make that tilt. Headlight construction, you have a high beam, low beam, and also turn indicator. On the side, we have a bumper extension emergency light. Looking at the vehicle here from a different perspective. And congratulations, Medford Fire Department, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32971. If you have any questions about the content of your truck or any questions regarding your truck, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.